Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
We are a nation in decline.
Experts are preparing for what is known as Disease X, or the next pandemic.
What we are seeing is a revolution against the system.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rise and Grind with VinceTagliavia. I'm your host, live with you every Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time to discuss the news and events of the world. Today is Monday, February 12th, 2024, and that's exactly what we'll do, is cover the news. Ooh, welcome, one and all. Hope you're all doing well. Please hit the like buttons and share this as we get into it here. I called today's show Kamala is Ready to Serve. I think we all know where this is going. We'll see exactly how it unfolds, but that seems to be the route. Anyway, we just got through Super Bowl weekend, as you are all probably well aware, like it or not. And I kind of feel like Alex Jones in this situation. Here's a funny video kind of that sums it up, if we may.
Hey, what do you think of the Cowboys? What do you think of this?
Yeah, did you see the simulated combat on TV? Yeah, I watched it. A bunch of rich gladiators that could care less about me. Did you see it? Yeah, I'm empty too. Yeah, I did. I fill my head with facts and figures that don't matter instead of learning the political system and standing up for myself. Again, I'm not saying sports are bad in and of themselves if you're involved in it, but not when it's your whole focus. It's always the same. They're like androids. They have like little fake conversations. So, what do you think of the playoffs? What do you think of the weather? Oh, yeah. And you start bringing up, I don't know, what do you think of the surveillance grid going in? Have you heard about how they're listening to all of us without warrants? They're like, well, gee, buddy, what you bringing that up for? It's kind of weird. Well, it is weird they're doing it. It's very dangerous. Well, I don't care. I'm not involved in politics. I don't have to worry about that, Mac. Oh, really? They're putting the grid in place to rob you, you fat
An older video there from Alex Jones. Just, it's true, though. I'm sorry to say it, but I was hearing that Taylor Swift had a well-deserved win last night. So congratulations, Taylor. I'm so proud. Hey, Christy, how you doing? Good morning. Hey, 1-1, how you doing? Anyway, y'all, I'm just joking. Yesterday was so weird, man. Joe Biden, right after the game on the White House Twitter account, let's just go to the exact post here, posted this picture. If it's still here, it's not. Did they take it down? Wow. They must have taken it down. But, wow, did they take this down? I guess they may have taken it down. But right after the game last night at 10:50 p.m. Eastern Time, Joe Biden's White House account published this image. And it said, just like we drew it up, and they posted this image here of Joe Biden, and the alt text on the image, the label on the image, if you will, was titled Dark Brandon. And everyone was asking, like, what the heck does that mean? And I think it was just a troll from his interns that control his account. It was quite creepy and weird. But it's not there anymore if you go to the White House account, which is odd. They must have just deleted it. And people are asking, what the heck is that about? I think it's just a troll, stir things up a little bit. Joe Biden, this video is still up on the White House X account. It was really odd. I think this was before the Super Bowl. This was another absurd video. Biden basically calling out himself on shrinkflation. He's sick of it, and he's blaming all these companies for it. Just a weird play of deflection by this administration.
Super Bowl Sunday. If you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. A bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging you just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation. It's a ripoff. Some companies are trying to pull a fast one by shrinking the products little by little and hoping you won't notice. Give me a break. The American public is tired of being played for suckers. I'm calling on companies to put a stop to this. Let's make sure businesses do the right thing now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Christy. I'm muted. Yeah. So Joe Biden on shrinkflation. I think that it's a weird America last proposition. The big companies can manage it if they're forced to, but the small companies will go out of business and they won't be able to compete. Profit margins will be non-existent. Maybe that's the plan, just to make things worse or to consolidate money. And that's my best guess. It doesn't really make logical sense aside from further destroy the country. That's the way I look at it. Trump released a commercial yesterday. Let's take a look at that one. Actually, let's go to his truth, where the other kind of Super Bowl related commercial is, and we'll check that one out. And let's see here, Donald Trump, and I don't think he said anything this morning, but he did post this video, which was pretty funny, and it's just blasting Nikki Haley. We'll check that out just in case you haven't seen it. Let's see here.
Donald Trump says I want to cut Social Security or raise the age. I've never said that.
There's the red challenge hat. Trump's challenging Haley's statement.
Haley's claim she didn't call for raising the age of Social Security is under review.
Tony, here's exactly what the official is looking at.
Social Security, Medicare, how would you manage the entitlements?
We say the rules have changed. What we do know is 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that. 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that.
Let's take a look at another angle.
We change retirement age to reflect life expectancy.
I think the call's pretty clear, but let's go down to the field and see what official Gene Tooney has to say.
After review, Nikki Haley clearly said she plans to change the rules and raise the age of Social Security. This results in cutting benefits for 82% of Americans.
Bob, that was a rookie mistake by Haley.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Big jab from Trump there. Hilarious. Well done. And he just keeps taking jabs at Nikki. All right, let's take a look at the market. The S&P 500 builds on historic close as the stocks edge up. So it's still above 5,000. It's at $5,046.47. That's the S&P 500. just past that 5,000 mark on Friday for the first time, I think, or closed above that mark. And yeah, green. A lot of green this morning, except crude oil minus 0.03%. Gold down 0.48%. It's $2,000, $2,029. Silver is $22.72. Bitcoin had a huge surge over the weekend, going all the way from $43,000 to $49,723.58 as of now. Almost 50 grand Bitcoin. Wow. Talk about volatile. Holy moly. Yeah, Bitcoin hasn't seen 50,000. Gosh. Since 2021. So, wow. When are we going to see Bitcoin's new high? Man, we might see it this year. Bitcoin's new high. That means it would pass over 60, well over 65,000, 66,000. Wow. Yeah, I think it'll definitely hit it this year. All right. So that's kind of where the markets stand as of now. Ooh, got our coffees. All right. Onward here. Let's take a look at this video by Professor Stange. He talks about Powell on 60 Minutes. And it's just a quick 3-minute video. Let's take a look at it. Why don't we?
Jerome Powell gave an interview a few days ago. Jerome Powell gave an interview on 60 Minutes, a proper masterclass in gaslighting with doublespeak. Having said there were a couple gems in there that set the media aflutter. One was Jerome finally confessing that, quote, the federal government is on an unsustainable fiscal path, as in our federal deficits are getting to the point of destabilizing the entire financial system, as well as bankrupting our grandkids. Of course, it would have been super if Jerome had realized this before he spewed out $6 trillion of freshly printed dollars, almost 1 in 4 in existence at the time, which led to the worst inflation crisis since the 1970s. Still, it is rare for Fed chairs to criticize federal spending at all. Not because trillion-dollar deficits are harmless. Fed chairs know full well that every dollar the government spends makes the productive economy smaller. No, the reason Fed chairs keep quiet is they know who butters their bread, and it ain't voters. After all, the president appoints Fed members, Congress confirms them, and the people only have the illusion of control, given that elections are largely bought. Now, in case you're hoping Powell's criticism heralds a new honest Fed, it does not. Because his next shtick was how the Fed didn't really cause inflation after all. It just sort of happened because COVID. Next, Powell talked about the banks. After being asked about the Fed's failure to even monitor Silicon Valley Bank, which you'll recall actually had a Federal Reserve official on their board, presumably providing regulatory immunity since they all played golf together. Now, Powell, to his credit, admitted that they failed. Of course, that won't change anything. In the same interview, he cooed how banking troubles are, quote, manageable. Since any failed regionals will just get bought by bigger banks, that will be the clip at the next catastrophic bank crash. As for the Fed's role in these constant bank crashes, we just had another near crash last week in New York. Powell was mum on the Fed's interest rate yo-yos that are crashing banks, as well as those regulatory relationships that keep the problems hidden. Just promises that he will try harder next time. It's worth noting the Fed was also very forthright in admitting that it screwed up 2008, while Jerome himself admitted they screwed up transitory inflation with the memorable quote, I think we now understand how little we understand inflation. So the Fed breaks everything it touches, it happily admits it, and yet nothing changes. So what is next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Sadly, what wasn't asked during the interview was whether the Federal Reserve should exist. If a central planning, politicized water carrier for the regime that habitually destabilizes the economy and crashes the financial system might not actually be a good thing. Particularly one that deceives the American people while enabling Wall Street and the federal government to rob Americans to the tune of several $1 trillion. Of course, those kinds of questions are probably above the pay grade of 60 Minutes, but perhaps one day Jerome Powell will actually face a tough questioner who makes him tell us why we shouldn't put the miserable, incompetent, corrupt Federal Reserve out of business. A fresh episode of the podcast roundup just went up.
PeterStonge.com if you want to follow him and his content. Great analyses, and he follows finance very closely. So thank you, Peter Stonge, for that. We also have the German industrial output falling to 2006 levels. Zero Hedge published an article on it. The title of the article is Germany's industrial superpower days are over. A green victory. So, they haven't seen this level since 2006. And basically they're blaming here. They're thanking climate baloney in a nutshell. So, yes. Congratulations, Germany. You're well on the road to following the science and destroying your entire economy. All right. We've got an interesting thing going on this week. Not a lot of people are talking about this. Thank you to Josh Sigurdsson for pointing it out. Tucker Carlson is heading to the World Government Summit 2024. The what? The World Government Summit. Yes, the World Government Summit. And here are some more of the speakers from this summit. Some of our favorites. Dr. Tedros, the director of the World Health Organization, the director general, rather. Ajaypal Banga, the president of World Bank Group, and Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman. The World Government Summit. Let's go to their website. Why don't we? The World Government Summit 2024. Let's check this out. So we'll be hearing what they have to say here. In 2024, the World Government Summit will take place under the theme of Shaping Future Governments, where the conversation will involve governments, international organizations, thought leaders, and private sector leaders from around the globe to international international cooperation and enable governments to identify innovative solutions for future challenges, further rippling to inspire and empower the next generation of governments. This is on February 12th through the 14th in Dubai, the UAE. So yeah, here we go. It starts today. Over 200 speakers. And we've got Mohammed Al-Gharqawi, the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, UAE, and Chairman of the World Government Summit, and Klaus Schwab speaking first this morning. And then it'll go on and on with these CEOs and et cetera, et cetera. CNN correspondent and anchor Richard Quest. Wow. Quite the lineup. And they are planning the world's future. How do you like that? Wow. Yeah. How many of these globalists meeting things do they have, man? Holy smokes. So there you have it. The World Governments Summit. And it's interesting. Tucker's going to be there, huh? Or I guess he is there. That's the rumor. That's the rumor here. Let's see. Is he on this? Tucker. Yeah, Tucker Carlson's vision. What's next for storytelling? Tucker Carlson. Yeah, he is there on their website here. And let's see, what does this say? This session offers an all-encompassing experience with Tucker Carlson, the news anchor known worldwide for challenging conventional storytelling approaches. That's today, at the end of the day today. So, yeah, Tucker today. I hope he publishes it on x.com. Wow. Very interesting. What do y'all think about that one? Did you know that? Did you know about that one? Christy said, you may get pink eye from looking at that website. That's a good one. All right. This is just a pretty wild story here. A leftist couple in Massachusetts signed up to allow illegal immigrants to stay in their home. 4 illegals from Chile were dropped off by the government within an hour, it says here. Let's watch this clip.
Colin and Jessica Stokes called the state to sign up to be a host family. It took less than an hour for the displaced migrants to be dropped off at their door.
I gotta get sheets on the bed. How many people are coming? Right. Where are they from? What ages? We really knew nothing.
The need is so clearly overwhelming.
The family of 4 who didn't want to go on camera had been sleeping at Logan Airport. The parents and 2 kids journeyed from Chile to Texas, then Massachusetts, and there are so many stories like it.
It's boggles the mind that there are so many hundreds of those stories.
Colin and Jessica Stokes called the state to sign up to be a host family. It took less than an hour for the displaced migrants to be dropped off at their door.
I gotta get sheets on the bed. How many people are coming? Right. Where are they from? What ages? We really knew nothing.
The need is so clearly.
That is just wild. Can you believe that? People are really doing this. I couldn't imagine. That is just insane. Somebody said this is propaganda. This shocking news clip from a Brooklyn couple celebrating taking immigrants in their home is propaganda. Colin Stokes is a Harvard-based he/him communication strategist for racial justice. His LinkedIn profile, quote, specializing in the role of white people in anti-racism work. He contracts with an actual organization called White People Challenging Racism. He teaches classes, does TED Talks, and now does news segments praising the opportunity to bring criminal migrants into the homes of American citizens. Wow. So it's just propaganda to get people to be like, oh, other people are taking immigrants into their house, and I care about being a good person. I might have to make a phone call and I have an extra, spare bedroom. I could probably fit, 3 or 4 migrants, one in each corner or something. Wowee. Wow. Wild. More stuff about Tucker here. Rumors. Chuck Callisto reports that rumors are circulating that Tucker Carlson will visit India to interview Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And so maybe that'll come up here soon. Also, Tucker Carlson is set to release a bombshell interview with Joe Biden's sexual assault accuser, Tara Reid. Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking like that. Reid is now suing the Department of Justice, seeking millions in damages following alleged FBI operation against her will. So yeah, we'll have a couple big ones from Tucker. Also, Tucker Carlson met with Edward Snowden and Joe Biden's accuser Tara Reid while in Moscow. The former Fox News anchor spent several hours on Thursday in a meeting with NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. Although Snowden was frequently featured in the media after escaping to Russia, he has significantly reduced his public appearances lately, stating a wish for more privacy for his family. And so, yeah, Snowden, Tara Reid, we got some bombshell interviews coming from Tucker here pretty soon, it seems like. Interesting. And he's in Dubai right now. What? I don't get it. It's kind of concerning, actually, that he's at this globalist event as a speaker. It's kind of weird. We'll see what comes of it. All right. This morning, Donald Trump arrived at the federal courthouse in Fort Pierce, Florida, for a hearing on the classified documents case, which is sealed. Hopefully, we could hear more on that. Christy Beck, what's fake? What's up with her? I don't know. We're going to have to just wait and see the latest and greatest on that. Onward here. JD Vance went to Twitter this morning and said, I just sent the below memo to every one of my Republican colleagues in Congress. Buried in the bill's text is an impeachment time bomb for the next Trump presidency if he tries to stop funding the war in Ukraine. We must vote against this disastrous bill. So they're trying to push this bill through. It gives a bunch of money to Ukraine, and the conclusion of the letter that he sent out says the supplemental represents an attempt by the foreign policy blob/deep state to stop President Trump from pursuing his desired policy, and if he does so anyways, to provide grounds to impeach him and undermine his administration. All Republicans should oppose its passage. So, we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, what a sneaky situation, huh? Very sneaky. Oh my gosh. Of course, they'll get the rhinos to vote for it. We'll see who they are. Some people say it's career ending, but yeah, we haven't seen that really happen, have we? All right. Christy, don't you know everything? Jeez. No, unfortunately not. We had Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in the news last night again. He was moved to the hospital, the original news said, and then it said that he remains hospitalized and his duties were transferred over to Deputy Secretary Hicks, according to the Pentagon. Now, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has been moved to a critical care unit at Walter Reed, and they said it's a bladder issue, an apparent bladder issue. Just a few weeks ago, he was secretly hospitalized for days, not letting anybody know, and then they said that he has cancer, and then he was released. Remember that? And they also said, don't worry, he has his laptop at the hospital and fulfilling his duties from there. Everything's fine. Right. Again, they said that again, by the way. They're like, he has everything he needs to perform his duties. Don't worry. And then quickly they're like, all right, we're transferring it over. We're transferring it over to Secretary Hicks, his duties, that is. So not looking good for Defense Secretary Austin in the hospital right now with bladder issues. Who knows? I mean, I don't know what to believe, but yeah, he's in the hospital apparently. I believe that, but what is the issue? I mean, they change it every time, they keep changing it. I don't know, man. National Security spokesman John Kirby is expected to assume an expanded role, potentially being named assistant to the White House, as reported by the Associated Press. So we'll see what that turns into. And like I said in the beginning, Kamala Harris is ready to serve. We've got a couple polls coming out. We've got one from ABC News. Almost 90% of Americans believe Biden isn't fit to serve. Yeah, a poll conducted in the wake of probably the worst week of his presidency has found that a whopping 86% of Americans do not feel Joe Biden is good enough in good enough shape to serve another term. The poll by ABC News was carried out Saturday after the special counsel report that described Biden as an elderly man with poor memory, and after he ended up angrily yelling at reporters for asking questions about the issue, which is a symptom of sundowning, ironically. We had another poll here. 3/4 of Americans are done with Joe Biden. The Citizen Free Press reported 76% of voters have major or moderate concerns about Biden not having the mental and physical health for a second term. And word is Kamala's come out. Call me Kamala. According to the Wall Street Journal, Kamala Harris says she is ready to serve as Biden faces age scrutiny. In a recent interview, the vice president cites her capacity to lead after stops on her abortion rights tour. Ooh-wee, oh-wee, oh-wee, ooh. Even Hillary Clinton has called Joe Biden's age a legitimate issue. Yes. Quote, I talked to people in the White House all the time, and they know it's an issue. But as I like to say, look, it's a legitimate issue. Clinton told MSNBC's Alex Wagner earlier this week. It's a legitimate issue for ex-President Donald Trump, who's only 3 years younger, right? So it's an issue. Yeah, she turns it on Trump. It's an issue for all these guys, right? No. She says, I think Biden should also lean on the fact that he's experienced, and that experience is not just in the political arena, she said. It's like the stuff of, human experience, character, wisdom. Yeah, so she says it's an issue, but is kind of dancing around the issue. But I think they're leaning that way. Age isn't the issue. Dementia is the issue, to be fair, Christy Beck. Yes, Christy Beck, you're absolutely right. I agree with that 100%. They really are leaning on the age thing. You guys are saying he's old. That's very rude. That's rude to old people. No, it's not an age thing, actually. It's he's incompetent to be president thing. That's what it is. If he was 25 and had dementia, I guess he couldn't be 25. If he was 40 and had dementia, it would still be an issue. It's not necessarily because he's so old, per se. I agree with that. Yeah, if he was 100 years old and competent, then okay, then he's competent. The House has passed a resolution to remove Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. They still have a lot of work to do on Ilhan. Get her out of everything, why don't you? Get her out of everything. Get her out of Congress, for Pete's sake. But I guess that's good. Onward. New York is about to get hit with a big storm. Apparently, all of the New York schools will be running online tomorrow due to weather. A winter storm expecting to bring up to 8 inches of snow. Wow. And of course, it's like, let's just do school online. We learned that from COVID. It works. It's wonderful. Oh, gosh. Wow. More snow expected in tri-state area. Here we go, folks. Get ready. 3 to 5 inches is what reports are saying now, but prepare. Ooh, up to 10 inches possible, one report says from Fox. Holy moly. Watch out, New York and surrounding areas. NBC reported that Biden was upset and angry at Netanyahu and called him an asshole. That's all I got there. But another, again, a sign of dementia. This anger, these outbursts. So yeah, interesting. Dead on arrival in the House. Is this the bill? Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says, dead on arrival in the House. Any Republican that votes for this, career will be over. And that was in response to J.D. Vance's pointing out that this funding for Ukraine is also setting Trump up to be impeached when Trump doesn't fulfill its commitments when he's elected. So we'll see how they do on that, and we'll see who the rhinos are. Maybe we'll have another breaking rhino alert when they vote against Trump, essentially, with this bill. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't pass, though, but we'll see what goes on. My gosh, General Flynn came out with a real interesting one. Oof. Let's see what General Flynn had to say about this world situation here. General Flynn on X.com this morning, bright and early with his coffee, wrote this on X.com. So everyone who cares where U.S. taxpayer dollars are going and what UNRWA stands for, United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees. Yes, we are paying big bucks to this terrorist front organization. Israeli soldiers, quote, "We're shocked to the depths of our souls that an organization that is meant to be caring for human rights is cooperating in such a clear and brutal way without any fears with a terror group like Hamas. For those who study warfare, remember the tunnels and bunker complexes discovered in Iraq, Afghanistan, and also the tunnels and command and control and intelligence command posts discovered during the Vietnam War, the Germans during World War I and World War II, and the Japanese, especially in Okinawa, had similar capabilities. These are old but still very useful tactics to deceive, operate, and survive. In this more sophisticated case, Hamas used international organizations or an occasional hospital or children's school to operate behind, or in this case, under, to do their dirty work. It is time to stop funding the United Nations. They are not trying to achieve peace. They are working against America. The fact is, we need a re-examination of so many of the structures and relationships the U.S. is involved in. If these don't promote America, then we should seriously consider taking our ball and money and coming back home. Hashtag America first. Ooh, Flynn just laying it out there and telling everybody the way it is. American General Flynn, folks. Yep. Wow. We had the Ohio Butler County Sheriff warning civilians as well. This was a little bit concerning when this came out. Something stinks, MJ Truth Ultra said in response to this video that was published. Very odd. Let me go here and see exactly the day this was published here. 2 days ago, MJ Truth published this. I'm not sure when this original statement was made, but let's go ahead and watch.
I want the public to know this. The Chinese tried to attack our cyber system here in Butler County, which includes everything that we have, dispatching for police and fire, 5 times a day. I want to repeat that. 5 times a day. The Iranians are attacking our computer system and trying to hack it 3 times a day. I want to repeat that. 3 times a day. Now, are they doing that to help us and be our friends? No, they're not. They're trying to disrupt everything that we do. And this next election coming up, they're trying to do the same. So what we're doing here is we've got rifles in every police vehicle we have. We have what we call a go bag. We have extra magazines. And we're going to start training civilians. We've offered classes to train civilians. And we're going to start training civilians on what to do when disasters hit and emergencies hit. Naturally, we can't train the whole country. We can't train the whole county. We put this up online yesterday. It's full already. We can do like 30 people at a time. We're trying to get it, and the organization that is doing that is Texas A&M. They're coming here. The federal government's paying for it. They're going to train 30 civilians on what to do when disaster hits. 30 out of 400,000 people is not much. So we're trying to get more classes. Don't want to cause fear. Don't want to cause panic. But I want the public to be aware that you are under attack. And when they're attacking, they're trying to get our cyber system. We have a grid system. Butler County does. The whole United States. Hell, our grid system goes out when it gets hot. So, and our grid system is from the 1960s. And they're trying to attack our phone system. The Chinese are flying over with their little balloons. That's not to help us and help us do some weather direction. And all we're doing is we're on the defense. We're absorbing this.
Wow. So just a warning, and it's good that they're training some people. At least there's an effort being made there. But what a warning that is, particularly about the grid being compromised. And people were pointing out this joint guidance that was released by CISA.gov, which was interesting, but the way I saw it framed was a little bit misleading on the internet. I went and looked at it and read through it this morning. It's a joint guidance, CISA.gov. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So this was released. All right. National Security Agency, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, the Department of Justice, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the Department of Energy, and the Transportation Security Administration, and others, all coming together to release this Cyber Security Center joint guidance report called Identifying and Mitigating Living Off the Land Techniques. What is that, right? Living off the land and LOTL techniques and common gaps in cyber defense capabilities. I think they define it somewhere in here. Cyber threat actors leveraging living off the land, binaries, living off the land, abuse native tools and processes on systems often using blah, blah, blah. They use these LOTL in multiple IT environments, including on-premises, cloud, hybrid, Windows, Linux. So it's a bunch of like cybersecurity jargon, living off the land. Here we go. I want to hear the definition. LOTL, living off the land, involves the abuse of native tools and processes on systems, especially living off the land binaries, often referred to as LOL bins, to blend in with normal system activities and operate discreetly with a lower likelihood of being detected or blocked because these tools are already deployed and trusted in the environment. Cyber threat actors effectively use LOTL across multiple environments, including on-premises, cloud, hybrid, Windows, Linux, and Mac operating system environments, in part because it enables the ability to avoid investing in the development and deployment of custom tools. Basically, they're in the system. They're in the system. And they talk about network vulnerabilities and weaknesses and all this stuff in here. This is, you could find this joint guidance identifying and mitigating living off the land techniques on CISA.gov. But talks about best practices, recommendations, detection, hardening, blah, 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 blah. It goes into all of this, the history, the different operating systems, etc., and third-party tools for these techniques and whatnot. And then what they, so it's an interesting one for sure and relevant for sure. Let's go back up here on kind of the border issue we have here. Let's go back to that. Why don't we? Or try to. America is being destroyed and conquered right before our eyes. Wall Street apes posted this little video by Fox News. Let's take a listen.
This could not be more serious. What you are seeing right now is truly an invasion at the southern border. But the fact that Chinese nationals are the fastest growing group coming across raises so many red flags given the history of communist China and its efforts to undermine the United States. What's even more troubling is the fact that China wants the Chinese nationals, if some of them are rejected for their asylum claims, they say, look, we're seeking asylum. You know, we're running from persecution, which is hard to believe, by the way. But once they are rejected, Beijing will not even take them back. In fact, what we're learning from this new Daily Mail story this morning is that DailyMail.com is revealing that the border chiefs in the United States warned the Homeland Security Committee last year that they believe that they are concerned that they are letting in CCP spies. Okay, so they told the Homeland Security Committee last year. I can tell you for sure that I spoke with the chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, Mark Green, and he told me, yes, he believes Xi Jinping is directing these people to come to America and perhaps act as saboteurs when Beijing directs them to do so. I don't know. Could they be creating a mini army in the United States to create havoc if and when a Republican is in the White House? If Trump wins, for example, in November, could they create havoc and then the mainstream media can go run with it and say, look what's happening across the country. Nobody wants Trump. Meanwhile, it is the Chinese nationals behind this havoc. We don't know. We have no idea why so many are coming here. But let me just say, in the fiscal year 2023, which by the way, started October 1st. You've got 24,000 Chinese nationals having been apprehended. That compares to, look at these numbers, just 2,000 people in 2022 and just 342 in 2021. So clearly, Beijing sees the weakness in the White House as an opportunity to storm America, send these folks in here, and we don't know what their motivations are. It's very troubling. We are covering it, and I really appreciate you guys covering it because this is something that has become a national security risk.
National security risk, and absolutely nailed there. We do know what it's all about. She's exactly right. It's going to be used for destabilization once Trump is elected or on the run up to him being elected as well. Listen to this interview. It says here, Chicano gang member speaks on the influx of military-aged Chinese men pouring across the border. And let's listen to what he has to say on this. Very interesting, to say the least. So please listen.
All the immigrants coming at the borders, not the Raza. Right. They're all Asian.
And I'm glad you said that.
They're from the Sudan. Like, they're from different countries, homie. And these are all men, military-aged men. They're not women. There ain't no women and children at the border. There's a gang of men that are my kids' age. I tell my kids all the time, hey, mijo, look at all these vatos that are coming right here. They're all coming right here. A gang of them. They're getting ready for something.
Now, let me ask you this. Well, it's not a question. I'm glad you brought that up because whenever we say the border, whenever we say immigrants, everybody's ignorance always thinks to, why are you talking about Mexican? Why are you talking about raza?
Yeah.
And it's not true, bro. Everybody's coming in.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It's the stupidest thing, too, for them to say, you know, the majority of people that come over here or across the border is raza. No, it's fucking not. It never has been. You think the raza down there is fucking really trying to come to America for a better way of life? No. They only come over here because the currency is way higher. That's it. And to help the families down there. That's it.
Yeah.
The currency. That's it. If not, you think they're going to want to cross the border to come over here to this fucking bullshit over here?
Right.
The fake-ass food, all that. They got farmland over there. You know what I mean? They got land. They grow real food over there.
Interesting that he brings up the fake food in our country too, but you know what? There's obviously a lot to discuss with what was said there, and we could debate back and forth on it all day. But the point is, so many different cultures are coming across the border, from China to South America to the Middle East and Mexico, everywhere. And you saw that increase in Chinese immigrants covered on Fox. My gosh. 10 times increase in just a year. Oh yeah. And he said it pretty well there. They're planning something. They're planning something for sure. As the Super Bowl was going on last night, there were heavy Israeli airstrikes in the north, to the north of Rafah in southern Gaza, as the war continues. Horrible situation, but yeah, that was going on as everyone sat and watched the game. Interestingly enough, Mike Pence and Mike Pompeo went and wrote an opinion piece on the Wall Street Journal with the headline, "It's time to strike back at Iran. Appeasement has failed. The U.S. needs to restore deterrence in the Middle East and elsewhere." Wow. Literally, Mike Pence and Mike Pompeo writing that in the Wall Street Journal. Some warmongering craziness. I can't believe this. This is absurd, man. How is this even reality? The Houthis say that an American ship has been hit by missiles in the Red Sea. I haven't confirmed this. This is being reported on Zero Hedge. They write, President Obama's Operation Prosperity Guardian to shield commercial vessels in the Red Sea, along with U.S. and U.K. bombing raids across the Middle East, have yet to stop Iran-backed Houthi rebels' attacks around the Bab al-Mandab Strait. On Monday morning, Houthi militants claimed to have hit an American ship, Star Iris, with missiles in the critical waterway. According to Bloomberg, the Marshall Island-flagged vessel owned by U.S.-listed Star Bulk Carriers Corporation was hit by 2 missiles that caused minor damage. The ship was transiting the Bab al-Mandeb Strait at the time of the attack. Wow. Onward. This headline Insider Paper wrote is NATO scrambles jets, the Kremlin claims as Russia sends 2 nuclear-capable missile carriers over Norwegian Sea, according to the Daily Mail. So just some aggression, a little bit of activity there. Yeah, nuclear-capable missile carriers got responded to with some NATO jets, according to the Kremlin. Wow. Which are, I would assume, depending on the type of jets, but I assume those are also nuclear capable, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, here was an interesting one that wasn't, I don't think it's really on people's radar very much. The CEO, and this was reported on Friday, the CEO of one of Nigeria's largest banks was killed when a helicopter he was riding in crashed in the Mojave Desert in California. Yeah. One of the largest banks CEOs in Nigeria. The CEO died in California from a helicopter crash. Excuse me, what? And then we did lose those 5 soldiers in the helicopter crash last week in California. Training, I presume there. Is this politically driven? Is this a coincidence? What's going on here? I mean, people are asking, where's Hillary? Crazy, man. Crazy. Onward here. What else do we got going on in this crazy wonderland world of ours? Him and his son died, left Maryland. Wow. Good morning to you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Assassination, left Maryland says, I believe that may be the case. All right. Remy, take care. Have fun. Thank you for tuning in. Well, we saw some fake reporting about the Putin-Tucker interview from Express here. Charlie Bradley from Daily Express. The headline says, Vladimir Putin wants massacre across Europe after deranged Tucker Carlson interview. Vladimir Putin has made it clear that he wants to massacre people across Europe once he is done in Ukraine. Chris Bradley, did you listen to the interview? Putin actually said the exact opposite of that. What the heck, man? Okay. This is just how they operate, folks. I don't know how they can just so blatantly lie. I mean, I guess some people are so disconnected from the reality, they don't watch the source material, that they see these headlines and they actually believe it. And it's scary when you see that stuff. I see it with people that live around me. They'll say this, like, I swear. One of my neighbors will be like, did you know that Putin wants to take over all of Europe, man? Did you hear? I mean, Tucker interviewed him, and Putin wants to take over all of Europe, man. You hear? I don't know what to do with some people. Yeah. No, dude. As I always say, what are you watching CNN again? Are you watching CNN? They're fake news, man. Stop listening to that. Oh, one guy, I'm not watching CNN. No, I'm not watching CNN. What, MSNBC? What? Pick your poison. Which one is it? Who's telling you lies? Be honest. It's okay. Stop it. Anyway, let's see here. Good googly moogly. All right, I think we're going to stop here for the day. We're going to stop here. We're going to carry on. We have a lot to do today. I do, that's for sure. And I know y'all have your things to do as well. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. If you like the show, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment, and I'll get back to you. If I missed any stories you want to hear about, leave a comment. Tag me on X however you see fit to let me know. I appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all soon. If there's any breaking news, I will go live. So turn on your notifications on DLive or Rumble or YouTube or X.com, wherever you like to watch or get your notifications, and catch those other live shows that I do. And I will be live tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, again, just to talk about the news and events that have unfolded from now until then. So I'll see you all tomorrow morning, or perhaps earlier if there is anything breaking. With that, have a great day. Take care. God bless and Godspeed.
We do a little trolling. It's called We Do a Little Trolling.
May be the year of a black swan event.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."